Openness, which I think is the foundation for much of the work that we're doing in organizations around knowledge sharing, is that the sense belief that information is to be, it's better to share more information, to create more transparency, also around how decisions are made. And the belief here is that when you do this, you create more trust and understanding, but also more accountability. A great example of this is at Nokia. And I was speaking with the chairman there when they were going through all their changes, selling off their handsets, buying new telecom companies. He realized that the organization was not moving at the speed it needed to because the information was being tightly held by people. And people did not want to be open about what was really going on. So he had this saying, no news is bad news. When he wasn't hearing what was going on, he said, that's not good. That's bad news. But he also said bad news is good news because when you have bad news coming forward, when people were coming in and saying things aren't working, it's really bad, then that was great because then everybody could come in and start helping that particular person or that group be more successful. They could problem solve. And he also said, good news, well, that's great. It's not really news. That's what we expected things to do. So he would say this over and over and over again to try to change this belief that sharing information was dangerous. Instead, he said sharing is good. We're going to have more knowledge being shared across the organization so that we can actually work together better as a team. So some best practices around this. It's hard to be open if you don't feel safe. And what so many organizations do to begin doing this is to make sure that people understand that this is the expectation and it's okay to bring forward the bad news. It's also very difficult that if you don't feel like you belong, that you're part of that tribe, to raise your hand. And so if you have any groups that may be disenfranchised, women, people of different ethnic origins, people coming from different socioeconomic or educational backgrounds, take extra effort to make sure that they feel like they belong so they feel safe to raise their hand. It's important to put the vital information in the hands of everyone. So many organizations right now realize with the pandemic and the way that work is changing that we need to open up those vaults of information because the reality is 99% of the information you have in organizations can be shared. It's not confidential. So really think about how much information people need and how much can they actually get to in order to do their job better. And finally, let's talk about breaking down silos, one of my favorite topics. We talk about breaking down silos all the time, but I think silos have a really important role. They create expertise and excellence within a functional area. So this is less about breaking down silos and I think more about installing windows in the silos so that your customers can pass through seamlessly and without any friction. Your customers and their data, their experiences, they come across feeling like this is one organization rather than being tossed over one wall to the other silo.